performance this afternoon will be decided by one fall. Come on, Ashford, let's try again. This match will be decided by one fall. Presenting and introducing to you, coming from the red corner, the controversial star making a welcome return back to Rumble Wrestling after 20 years. It's classic Kris Kay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Aaron Nix. Welcome back to Rumble Wrestling TV on the Rumble Wrestling YouTube channel. And singles match to open up a welcome return to a sold-out Style Centre here in Ashford. We are absolutely rammed to the rafters, as you can see. And what an opener we've got. An instant classic between Rumble Wrestling's heart and soul. When he's not chucking his jacket at the videography team, that is. Sid Manelli facing classic Kris Kay. His first appearance in Rumble Wrestling for 20 years. Doesn't look a day over 50. I'm kidding, of course. Kris Kay looking magnificent for a man who has put in 30 years into professional wrestling. The owner and proprietor, of course, of Kapow Wrestling and one of our great friends in the British wrestling landscape, and looking today Kris Kay, not exactly endearing himself to the audience, and obviously against Sid Manelli, whether you be friend or foe, you will always be at a disadvantage when it comes to the Rumble Wrestling audience. Classic Kris Kay, 30 years of professional wrestling excellence, and it's not often that Sid Manelli finds himself at a serious disadvantage when it comes to professional wrestling acumen and knowledge, but Kris Kay is every bit that man. Plenty of power on display as well, as you can see. A rather numerous size advantage for Kris Kay going into this matchup with Sid Manelli, but talk about making a statement. Referee David Macro in charge of this one-on-one affair here in Ashford. Following a tie-up, Sid Manelli, of course, as we've said, at a severe disadvantage. And once again, Kris Kay displaying his astonishing power. And don't be fooled by his size, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very, very good technical professional wrestler. Modelled a lot of his style, of course, on James Mason. You can't really go wrong on modelling yourself on one of the all-time technical greats. Not pretty obvious what the MO is going to be for Sid Manelli, looking to knock down classic Kris Kay, and that is one gigantic oak that you are charging at here in the Rumble Wrestling ringers. And media and Tony Ham look on from the outside, capturing all the videography and photography. Ladies and gentlemen, rumblewrestling.com to secure your tickets now. There are just a few tickets left for our magnificent return to the Spotlight and the Woodville Theatre. Steel Cage Spectaculars on tap in October of this year, of Kris Kay showing off his power once again, and might I add, no wasted movement from Kris Kay, and that's something that has proven to be part of his longevity. You don't get to be in this business for 30 years without learning just when to strike and just when to cover, and Kris Kay truly is a master of the arts and is passing on that knowledge to the next breed of students at the Powerhouse in Southampton. Right now, taking an enziguri off of Sid Manelli, who ducks to the clothesline. Sid Manelli, a beautiful flying shoulder tackle, knocks down Kris Kay, and another building up a header. Steam is the heart and soul. Down in drops it, and Kris Kay is absolutely being rocked and rolled all around the Style Centre. Sid Manelli once again, looking for the scoop slam, but I do believe he might have bitten off more than he can chew there. Going to need a bigger axe to chop a tree of that nature as the axe handle comes crashing down on the back of Sid Manelli, and Kris Kay regains control with the simplest of offense, and that's what he does. It's what he does so well and has done for so long. Kris Kay, the headbutt right to the spine of Sid Manelli, and Sid Manelli has faced many a great opponent inside a Rumble wrestling ring, but I do believe this might be the very first meeting of the two. It definitely is the very first meeting of the two inside a Rumble wrestling ring, at least, as far as we're aware. I'm sure some 3C nerd on the internet will no doubt have something to say about that, but bottom line is Kris Kay dominating Sid Manelli in the early goings here, and frankly, if Kris Kay hasn't wrestled somebody, they're probably not worth mentioning at this point. Even I've wrestled Kris Kay, ladies and gentlemen. And I can tell you from first-hand experience, you certainly do not want to be receiving one of those swift uppercuts to the face. They hurt like thunder. The attitude from Kris Kay seems to be one of, I don't really care what the Rumble Wrestling fans think. It's obviously hostile territory for Kris Kay. Used to performing for the baying audiences of Kapow. But this is Rumble Wrestling territory, and nobody does it better, especially in the southeast of England. And a stiff right hand and a back rake as well. And referee Dave Macro admonishing Kris Kay, who's not allowing Sid Manelli to gain any kind of footing and get back to his feet in this matchup, and that's smart. And traditional 1-fall to a finish rules here. Another club to the back. Sid Manelli struggling to build any kind of offense from underneath, and Kris Kay has got the game plan down to a T here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that boot being stuffed into the neck of Sid Manelli, and referee Dave Macro once again admonishing Kris Kay, but he's one advised to keep his distance from a man so devastating. The best part of 270, 280 pounds is Kris Kay, a genuine heavyweight with a affluence for technical wrestling. We haven't seen any of that on display, however, which is a surprise. And oh my God, I thought Sid Manelli almost had him up for the bottom, fell out on a 2 count only. Kris Kay arguing referee Dave Macro believes that was free, and Sid Manelli, very much the MO of this match has been biting off more than you can chew. Every time Sid Manelli has looked to fell the giant oath or at least administer some form of power, he has found himself on the back end of a good old-fashioned whipping, and now a backbreaker right across the knee, courtesy of Kris Kay. Cover 2 count only. There's that resilience as we've seen from Sid Manelli. Now forearm across the face and the other arm's up, and we mentioned James Mason early on in this matchup. Both of these men have so many similarities to James Mason, but present themselves in such different forms and fashions. And Sid Manelli trying to fight out from underneath once again, looking to send Kris Kay into the corner, and does so. They're going to take that big old shiny dome and drill it into the Rumble Wrestling turnbuckles. Third, and looking for the infamous quadruple, and now Kris Kay puts the brakes on once again and goes right back to that power game. And Kris Kay very smart. I should point out, somebody who has worked and trained with Kris Kay a number of times, I know what Kris Kay is all about from a technical standpoint, but the power game is underrated as he drops the leg right across the throat of Sid Manelli. Hitting combination 2 count only, says referee Dave Macro. As I mentioned so many times, Kris Kay, so underrated as a power wrestler, so regarded is his technical ability, but people forget that this is a heavyweight wrestler and he can deliver power. But I'll tell you what, Sid Manelli just swept the legs out from underneath the Kris Kay Juggernaut and is now looking to neutralise the Juggernaut in the nether regions. Let's just say that. Dave Macro trying to plead with Sid Manelli here, saying if you do that, you're going to get disqualified. And I understand Sid Manelli's frustration, but you can't just be going around punching bums, ladies and gentlemen. Kris Kay now, with an Irish whip off the ropes and a back elbow delivered beautifully. And talk about no wasted motion. Kris Kay has really mastered his ring positioning, and understandably so after 30 years of classic, and that's something that he has done so well. He's barely had to move in this matchup, such is his mental acumen, but Sid Manelli lands on his feet. Goes under the clotheslines, goes right through the legs, and Kris Kay, the speed advantage that Sid Manelli has, is finally starting to show some sort of reward in this singles matchup. Kick to the midsection and a face buster coming off of the ropes. A beautiful patented offense from Sid Manelli and a 2 count, says referee Dave Macro. Sid Manelli finally in the ascendancy here. after all of this time, he has taken Kris Kay's best shot and he has come back looking better than ever, and that is pretty much everything we've come to expect from Sid Manelli here at Rumble Wrestling. Sending to the second rope, waiting for Kris Kay to bring himself back into the game. Flying crossbody, oh boy, plucked out of mid-air like last week's trash, and a Michinoku-esque driver there. Beautiful, beautiful technique from Kris Kay. Now, what in God's name, the Leviathan, classic Kris Kay, is heading to the top rope. That is not a sight that Sid Manelli's going to want to see. Turn around, kid, because 30 years and 280 pounds of it. Oh, look out. Sid Manelli caught Kris Kay flush. Kris Kay was taking way too long and marring his good fortune and could be in serious trouble here. Sid Manelli sends Kris Kay crashing down to the canvas. Sid Manelli now looking, oh my God, like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, a huge scoop slam, but a 2 count only, and how fitting as we rest the legend. And now Sid Manelli looking to dismantle another legend here, looking for an RKO and Cutter. Didn't get all of it, but got enough, did he? Did he get enough? There's a pinning combination, and yes he did. Sid Manelli has beaten classic Kris Kay right here in Ashford.
Here is your winner, the Rumble Wrestling Champion, Sid Manelli.